Hello everyone. Today I want to do a reading. Chiron, if you guys know what Chiron is, he is the wounded healer. He's located in all of our natal charts if you want to find out where he is in your chart. I can put a link down below so you can go do that. You just need your correct birth time in order to see that. So today I wanted to read on basically how Chiron's going to be affecting us, because Chiron basically is the wound that we can't see that we have, that's deep down inside of us, that when the chord is struck, it can knock us down very harshly. It's basically our Achilles heel, where if we're hit, some people have a very hard time coming back from it when they're hit. And a lot of times we really have to rely on something higher than us to bring us out of that, because it can really seem like we can't do it by ourselves and it's too much. And since this is an Aries, it is going to feel very intrusive. It's going to hit hard and fast, and it really isn't going to give you a steady feeling whatsoever. It's already not steady because it's hard to deal with the pain, but it's also going to be like, it can make you lash out and become very angry because you don't really understand where this is coming from. And that's why I wanted to make this reading today. Originally, I was going to do a reading on the Mercury retrograde going direct on the 12th, and what we could do with those energies, but I just keep being pulled to talk about Chiron. So today I want to pretty much dive in and help you guys hopefully find out where your Achilles heel is, because knowing that would help us if it starts striking. And then actually being able to navigate the energy of it, so that way we're not feeling like we're drowning, especially with all this water energy and things being so sifty and like hazy and not really making sense, and all the different retrograde energies that are pulling on some more than others depending on exactly what dominant planets you have in your chart. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I always have my Spectrolite heart over there because it's really good for intuition and revealing the truth and stuff. So that obviously is more for me, but if you guys want Spectrolite, definitely get it. It helps with getting rid of fears and insecurities, and having more faith in yourself and the universe. And it helps with stimulating the imagination and calming the mind, and it makes you want to have enthusiasm for new ideas, which is good at this time because having a creative outlet can really help with all this, especially since we have Mars and Aries as well, so that's propelling us into all this energy. So that's a good one for that. This sphere I have right here is Lepidolite. So it's for release and reorganization of old self and old behaviors, releasing patterns. It creates a gentle change. It's not like a crazy, like all at once. So it might actually help with this energy. Once again, these crystals popped up for me to do this reading with, and it's kind of making sense. It's for deep emotional healing, and it soothes and reduces stress and gosh, I cannot talk. Thank you, Mercury. But reduces stress and depression, and it dissipates negativity. So it's a good one to have if you guys want to see it. Oh, up close. Let's see if I can make it do this. It does have sparkles in it, but it's a little hard to get the sparkles to kind of show on the camera. And then we have our crystals we're going to be using for the reading for you guys to choose from. We have rose quartz, angel aura quartz, and rainbow clear quartz. So I'm also going to pull a card for each crystal for this reading too, so you guys have more if your intuition pulls you to different things. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle and get those cards out as well. Ooh. Okay. So those are the cards. So let me go over each crystal and show you each card so that way you can pick the one you're most drawn to. Make sure you go off of intuition. If you have to pause and meditate, go ahead and do that. If a certain color strikes you at first, a certain piece of the card strikes you, the word, numbers, because there are numbers on the card. I'll say the numbers as I put them up in case that's something you guys connect to. But for the first one, we have rose quartz, which is this little one right here. And rose quartz, it brings in universal love. It restores trust and harmony in relationships. It encourages unconditional love and purifies and opens the heart. It helps promote self-love, friendship, and deep inner feelings of healing and peace. And card is healing, and the number is 21. And like I said, if either of those connect to you, I'll put the crystal names and the card names together like last time. So this one right here is the Angel Aura Quartz. And this one is great for manifesting greater joy, stronger connections, a greater spiritual sense, and it purifies and balances all chakras. It helps with insight and connection to others and divine connection as well. So it's a big connection stone. Quartz crystal. And then the card that we have is Courage with the number 30. And then the last one we have is Rainbow Clear Quartz. Trying to see if I can make the light catch it so you can see the rainbows, but it's kind of hard from the side with how the light's coming in. But this crystal is good for removing blockages, cleansing and balancing chakras. It can help increase love, work, health, and luck evenly across the board. And it's great for manifestation. A lot of times with this crystal, it does have rainbows in it. It's hard to see in the lighting, but the more dominant rainbow color that's in it can actually aid even stronger to certain chakras. So that's something to keep in mind too if it's a crystal you'd be interested in. And then the card for this one is Have Faith with the number 22. So now that I've gone over each, I'm going to go ahead and start with rose quartz. My healing pile, if she wants to chill with us today. Come on. There. Now she's hanging out with us. So our little rose quartz is going to go over here. And let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, I'm going to pull some cards to see if we can narrow down possibly where your Achilles heel is. So that way, if you're not sure what this is, it won't blindside you if it shows up, since you do need to be as aware of it as possible. It definitely helps. Oh, there's our first one. Oh, okay. I'll go over them once. Okay. So the ones that we have that came out, we have envy, I really, since this is your Achilles heel, it's probably something you don't like to really revisit. It's probably also an emotion you really block off. So having this envy definitely could have a deep impact on you being able to actually love yourself as you are. Because if you're constantly comparing yourself and feeling like you you're not good enough, you won't amount to anything, and you just look at the people with the stuff that you want. And it's like, it's one thing to admire what someone else has, but once it starts slipping into that slope of like starting to hate people for what they have and you don't have, that is a very dangerous way of thinking. And it can cause a lot of self-harm as well as harm to others who actually care about you. Right here we have the Angel of Balance. I really feel like with this one, it's almost like it's a battle to surrender to things being equal. It's almost like an all or nothing mentality. There can't be a space in between, there can't be a gray area. And life is nothing but gray areas. You can't have just black and just white. It doesn't work that way. There's so many shades of all these different things in between. And when you try to just have one or the other, you will never have balance, because you're constantly saying, if I didn't do this, then I don't deserve this. If I couldn't accomplish this, that means I can't accomplish this other thing. It's like you constantly bog yourself down with not being able to realize that the gray areas are lessons. And in order to keep moving forward, you have to be grateful for the lessons. You can't just say, oh, well, I couldn't do it, and give up. It'll always keep coming back. It'll be a cycle, and it's something you'll keep repeating until you realize it. And then we have the fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael. The fourth chakra is the heart chakra. It is, yours is closed off. And it would definitely be a very harsh moment if you are struck with this stuff and it is blocked or closed off, because you won't have it, not only like love giving to other people, but you won't be accepting of love for yourself. And it will make you take a deep dive into a pit that hopefully you will be able to crawl out of. But if you just take the time to really try to work on your heart space, your heart chakra, the energy of your heart, and actually find that balance of giving and receiving, and knowing that authentic love is healing. If you block all love off when you are stricken, you'll feel completely alone. It will be hard for you to even reach out to a higher power that you believe in, no matter what that is, because you'll even not feel worthy of that. And this is something you need to address, because it would definitely, if it strikes you, you would just crumble. The next one I want to do, how is this movement of Chiron going retrograde in Aries actually activating this wound? So maybe if you start feeling this, you might know this is what's happening, and hopefully you can try to ground yourself and work through it, because it's going to be hard for everyone, no matter how advanced or far along you are in your journey. This is going to hit everybody. So this so we have, ironically, activation. I feel with wind, what I'm picking up on is more the Mercury energy, the communication, the talking. It could also be the retrograde is gonna really hit you guys funky. But it might feel like when this is happening, it's getting harder and harder for you to talk. And it's almost like the only thing that wants to come out is what's hurting you, but then it's having a reaction where it's like you don't want to express it because it's a deep pain deep and down inside of you, and you don't want everyone to know, but it's like it's almost like you're crying out to let it out, but it's not coming out. So if you're feeling extremely repressed about something like that, it's kind of a hint of how you're being activated. It's like the beginning of it. And with this right here, with waterfall, the effortless, what it immediately has me thinking of is during this activation, you're going to have to let go of that need to control and allow it. It's probably going to be really painful, but you're going to have to allow it to cleanse you, because it's not something that'll go away, but it's almost like you'll be able to heal a lot of yourself that you haven't been able to heal. If you go with it, if you flow with it, it will be a lot less harder on you. The more you fight it, you're going to be like those fish that are swimming upstream. It's just not going to be fun. And yeah, you might get there, but there's going to be a whole lot more pain along the way. And what this cleansing is going to be making you do is a lot of reflection. Now, winter solstice, it's almost like hibernation in a sense. This wound has literally been sleeping inside of you, probably even from childhood. And it's like what's going to happen is with all this activation, it's going to start waking up, and it's going to make you possibly start looking back at childhood memories. And if you start getting very nostalgic, that's another way that it's starting to activate you. And this card is also very blue, so it is really tied to the throat chakra, just like the activation is, like with the talking. So if you're starting to get these memories, and it's like if you try to talk about them, you get choked up, it's part of the activation as well. Another one, you guys have a lot of water, but we have river and movement. So I really feel with this one, you guys will, it's almost like you'll start feeling extremely restless. And it's like you're gonna have to be on the move, because it's gonna feel like you're trying to escape from something. And the best thing you can do is to stop, because you need to have calm going through this. If you are rushing everywhere, it's still gonna get you. So it's better to just be calm and rested and flow with it, as opposed to running and having no energy and being struck by it. It is way better for you in the long run. I want to pull some tarot to see how you guys can face this, or possibly work through it, so that you have some guidance with that, so it's not like you're just kind of chilling with all this hurt, and it's activated, like, what the heck am I supposed to be doing right now? So I'm gonna go ahead and get, how can you face or work through this time? Advice. Too many that fell out. Yeah. So the first one we have is the Four of Summer, or the Four of Cups. With this one, it's usually you're not seeing opportunities that are right in front of you. But since this is supposed to be like, how are you going to face or work through it? Since you are wanting to not face it, like you're literally not even wanting to see that it's there, the way you're going to have to work through it is literally acknowledging it. Because even if you're seeing these signs, you'll probably be like, okay, it's coming. I really don't want to deal with this right now. It's not the time. You can't tell things when the time is right for you. It's one of those lessons we have to deal with when things happen, when life happens. We got to roll with it. And if we don't roll with it, then we get stuck. And so be grateful for what you have and keep coming back to that gratefulness to help you center yourself instead of looking at what you don't have. It's stemming back to that wound of wanting what others have. Be in the gratitude that you have what you have so you can ground yourself instead of being far off, like, I need this. It's making you not be in your body because you're so focused externally. Be focused on what you are grateful for in the moment that you have. And then the next one we have is the Dreamer. This is the Fool in the tarot. And with this one, how to face it or work through it, look at it as a new adventure, as something. It's like you're embarking on a journey to learn more about yourself. New journeys can have pain in them. That is not saying that it doesn't. Most fantasy books and things of the sort, it's like the hero goes through a whole lot of crap. So embark on the journey, and just because you hit roadblocks doesn't mean that you should turn and run away. Like, face yourself and fall into it as opposed to trying to run away from it. The next one we have is Awakening, also the Hanged Man in tarot. Since you are going to have one of the things when it's activated, you're going to have trouble trying to talk about it. Stop and think, because your first instinct is probably going to be to get upset because you can't express yourself. Stop and breathe, and then try to think of it from the other way. Instead of like the way you're thinking of it, try to come at it from someone else's point of view if they were to listen to you, and kind of think through that first. And if you feel the person you are trying to talk to would not understand you, don't put yourself in that situation of frustration for no reason. If you know there's someone who would understand and you can go to, then talk to them. You can open up little pieces at a time. If it's easier for you, write it down if you can't get it to come out of your actual voice. Write down the things you're going through and then let someone read it. And if they ask you, are you okay talking about it? If you still don't feel comfortable talking, you could say, no, I'd rather just keep writing, because that'll help you kind of switch the way you're looking at it. Like, just because it can't come out this way doesn't mean I can't get it out another way. If you want to paint it out, if you want to sing it out, dance it out, find a way to express it so that you aren't closing yourself completely down to where nothing can get in. And then the last one we have is Strength, which definitely if you're going to face this and you're going to try to work through it, you have to have the ability to rely on your inner strength, and then have faith that you can call for the strength from who you feel is protecting you at this time and who is closest to you. So that way, while you stay in that, even if you're in a very dark place, there will always be light shining in to help you kind of illuminate and navigate and kind of walk through the murkiness, so you can see almost the little diamonds scattered that you're kind of picking up and realizing, oh, this is actually pretty beautiful. As much as it hurts, as much as it's hard to go through, these little pieces of myself I would have never found, and they're actually, I really like them. And once you start doing that, I mean, it's kind of part of awakening, this right here. Oh, everyone's trying to run all off the side. But it's kind of what that is trying to say, is by doing these things, you're going to come to a new awareness about yourself. So the last thing I want to do is I want to pull some cards for energies that'll be helpful for you guys, but also ones you need to watch out for as well. So the first ones I want to pull out are the ones that'll be helpful for you guys from my rose quartz healing pile. And you guys get healing again. The energy of healing is very good for you guys. Another helpful energy, and precious time. I'll go over each of those. I want to get the other cards out too. And energies to be cautious of at this time. Purity. And then stargazing. Okay. So with these, the energy you should be in is the energy of knowing you are worthy of receiving healing. I mean, you probably are someone that naturally is able to heal others quite easily, because you know you've experienced pain and things like that, which is probably why you're envious of other people, is because you've had such a hard life and you see other people have these easy lives, and it's like you just keep getting knocked down and you feel there's no balance to it. So you need to turn that healing you're giving to others onto yourself, because this right here, the other helpful energy is precious time. You need to realize how precious each moment is to you. Like, you need to be able to be present, so that way you're not going back and forth between things, but you're sitting there and being grateful in the moment. So as things are happening, you're processing it in the moment, and that'll help you so much. What to be careful of with purity. Now, you have to be very careful with what you're putting out at this time, because if you aren't coming from a good space and you are trying to heal and go through all this stuff, and you aren't allowing yourself the healing, what's going to happen is the darkness is just going to swallow you. And it's kind of making me look at the stargazing card. It's almost like you'll get lost in another world and completely, kind of, come on, there we go. Oh, or not. We're just not gonna be nice to me today. But it's almost like what'll happen is you'll want to just run off into another world, because what you're dealing with is too dark, and you don't feel like you have it in you to heal this. It's too much. You don't feel like you're worthy of it. You don't understand why you have to go through all these things constantly. It's not fair. Step out of that and step into the gratitude and try to pull yourself out of the wanting to run away, whether it's in your mind or physically run away so that way your mind can't think or you can't hear your intuition. Like tap into your intuition. Like it's an endless reservoir. Like just tap into it and listen, and while you are calm, it will come to you so easy and it will help soothe you along with your guides. It's like it'll bring peace so that way you can work through this imbalance and you can open up your heart to where you're allowing the healing in. So that's all I have for my rose quartz pile with if you picked healing. Hopefully this helps you guys navigate this time. Onto my pile twos. We have our card of courage and also our angel quartz. So first thing I want to start out with is we are going to find out where your Achilles heel is, or what it is, so that way if you're not sure you can kind of get an idea. Where, okay. So I'm going to go over each of these. So the first one we have is orange sapphire. This automatically is screaming sacral chakra to me. You guys might actually have a very deep wound dealing with blocking off any feelings of desire or sexual parts of yourself, since this is a very deep wound that can stem from childhood. It could possibly be related to this type of abuse. In my own experience, I'm still working through this myself. It is a hard journey, and don't be down on yourself and feel like you're worthless or used up or not good enough because things were done to you that you could not protect yourself from when you should have been protected by other people. You're worthy of love. Right here we have Mookaite Jasper. It is kind of reminding me of quite a few chakras, actually. But coming from this kind of wound, it's very easy to feel like you have no power, that your power was taken away, ripped away from you, and trying to claim that almost feels like you have to relive it, and you'd rather remain not looking at it, because the pain is so much just trying to get back pieces of yourself, and it's almost like you don't want those pieces of yourself. You don't want to explore that deep because of what it brings up. Probably very vivid, like very vivid images with how bright that is shooting down like that. It's almost like it blinds you, and you're probably blinded by your own tears a lot of times, if you even allow yourself to kind of venture that way, so you just try to shut it off again. With Moldavite, this is it's almost like you don't know what will come of it if you actually face this. You don't know if you will turn into someone you don't like because you've tried so hard to hide this part of yourself, or you won't be accepted because of how people will look at you. And it's almost like you feel like you're gonna have to be burnt alive to go through this if you acknowledge it, because it's going to be so painful. And it's almost like, even if you're opening it up for the first time, because you closed it off all your life, it's gonna be like you're reliving the wound all over again. So the next I want to pull for you guys is how Chiron is actually activating this wound for you guys, like kind of like signs that it's starting to rise up in you, kind of like things you'll see in yourself, your surroundings. More than likely you'll see it within yourself first. Okay. I'll go over each of them after I pull them out. Okay. So, signs of Chiron actually activating this wound. First one we have is the Emperor. So, it's almost like you are going to want to take control of the situation. And when they come up, you might have this thing where you feel like you have to suppress. And it's almost like you're trying to use all of what's in the power that you have to keep it down because it's bubbling to the surface. And more than likely, as we have the Eight of Wands, what this is making me think of is actual light messages. Like, you guys might actually start getting downloads, and maybe even in your dreams, people might talk to you and say things to you when you haven't talked to them at all about what you're feeling, or they might even not even know anything about your past. And it's like bringing up all of these triggers in you that are just making it flow to the surface even more, because it's like this rush of like almost like a geyser because it's extremely hot and heated and it's trying to just burst out, and you're trying to suppress it so much that you're turning into a pressure cooker. And with death, some things are going to start falling away from you. It's like you're going to feel like you're losing a lot of things that you thought were stable. You might feel like you're wandering around in the dark a lot and kind of at a loss for what you're supposed to do. But at the same time, new things are going to start coming in as well. And the new energy is probably going to confuse you as well because you're going through trying to understand how to work through being a pressure cooker. But this is going to bring a lot of opportunities and breaking chains. And the cycles are going to come around, and you'll be able to kind of understand better than you did at this time, probably because you've grown a lot since then. It's still going to be painful, but your change will be more of a change in perspective as to how you can get through this. The next ones I want to pull for you guys are how to face this, or advice for how to work through it. Because once this starts bubbling up, it would be nice to kind of know how to deal with the things. Okay. One thing's for sure, you guys have to, if things are falling away, you have to let them fall away. Because if you cling to them, you're only going to hurt yourself. There's probably going to be some pain in letting that stuff fall away. But it'll be for your greater good to let that happen instead of continuing suffering by holding on to it. So, the first card we have is Inner Temple. Devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So, with this, for how to face it or work through it, you need to tune into yourself. As scary as it is to go in, you need to be able to feel your emotions and honor them and not push them away, because the way you work through this or you face it is by acknowledging the things that scare you to death, and by make time to where out of your day that you can just devote it purely to yourself so that you can regroup and come back to you in a sense. Because if you're sporadically having to give out your energy to all these different places, then what's going to end up happening is you aren't going to be able to have the energy for yourself. You have to have that power in you to say, like, this is for me, and I need this for me, and respect my boundaries. Because right here, it's almost like you need to stay out of this energy where you keep staying in these patterns you've created to deal with this. Because it's like it served you to protect you and to create a shell so you can get through life to this point. But if you continue to hold on to it, you are basically never going to be able to move out of that. You are You need to be able to be confident enough to show who you really are, even the things that you feel like people wouldn't like, because it doesn't matter what people like. What matters is how you feel about yourself. So if you are not being your authentic self because you don't know what people will think, well, screw them. You know, they don't have the things you've gone through. They haven't walked in your shoes. They're not going to understand your life no matter how much you explain it. So be who you are. Be true to yourself, and don't hold on to the ideas of what people want you to be or what people see you as. You're only responsible for how you view yourself. They can go have their opinions somewhere else. And then the last bit of advice is channeling and uplifting humanity. So basically, if it's hard for you to focus inward, focus on the beauty that is outside of you. Look at things that catch your interest that are beautiful, things that people do for others. Maybe you can do something kind for someone to kind of lighten your heart. So that way it's easier for you to feel like you can go into yourself and see that spark and see that light and be proud of who you are. Because a lot of times when this happens, it's almost like you want to be unseen and invisible because you don't want people to find out. So the last thing, this box is always annoying. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is major energies, helpful ones and ones to be cautious of. So first, the first ones I'm going to pull are energies that are going to be helpful. And these are double-sided. I'll read each side to you guys. And then energies to be cautious of when going through this time. Okay. So the first one we have is Blue Chalcedony. So this is the one that is helpful energy. Are you looking for inspiration? Now is the time to quieten your mind and tap into the higher frequencies of the angelic realm. By doing this, you'll release anger and frustration because you'll have tapped into inner knowing and found peace. Inner peace translates into inner beauty and reflects outward to all. So we have Archangel Jophiel. I am calm and at peace within myself. I embrace the oneness of all life, and my peaceful attitude promotes goodwill towards all. I am generous with my time, attention, and resources. I spread love and joy. I see beauty within me and all around me. So, it's kind of like what I was saying, is if you're having a hard time, look around you and see the beauty. And then also, if you want to, you can create beauty in the world too, so you feel that warmth in you as well. The next helpful energy is in no Shinite Tektite. Have you been noticing that things seem to happen unexpectedly? Our old injuries coming back to be reviewed. It is time to dissipate the emotional charges, attachments, and expectations. As you heal those around you, and essentially the planet. Be in the place of allowing and enjoy life. Archangel Sandalphon. I easily handle the unexpected. I stop, breathe, observe, and move forward with grace. Blessings come into my life seemingly from nowhere. I have unlimited potential and my possibilities are endless. So with this energy, it's I believe it's going to connect to the energies that you are losing and the new ones that are going to come in since you're going to be working on this. The more you're healing yourself, the more those type of good energies are going to come in, and you'll be able to release the old attachments that are holding you back from healing. Moving on to the ones that you need to watch out for. Are you trying to process a lot of information? Take the time to sort out all that is happening. Write in your journal. Make it your intention to remember your dreams. Record your thoughts and memories upon waking. Find peace as you process each nugget of information, awareness, and spiritual growth. So, Archangel Gabriel. Meditation is a normal part of my day. My crown, third eye, and throat chakras are balanced and aligned. My intuition is intact. I consciously request and accept the help of angels. My life flows easily with grace. So, what to watch out for would definitely be when you're being overloaded with information, that you just don't let it consume you. If you have to remember that there is angels or ancestors, whatever it is that you believe in, call on them. Don't feel like you're alone. Going through this brings a lot of spiritual growth, and what to be careful of is if you don't do it and you fight it, what ends up happening is you stunt yourself. And in stunting yourself, you end up just staying in the cycle of pain over and over again, and it just permeates into all areas of your life without you even realizing it. The last one we have for energies to watch out for: are you listening to your inner guidance? I like how these two are connected for energies to watch out for. Let go of the extra stress in your life. Release obstacles that cause frustration. Align with the angels and allow divine orchestration to light your path, to bring you to the right place at the right time. Flow and allow your inner guidance to show you the way. Listen to that still small voice within in order to find the answers you seek. Archangel Michael. I am focused. I see, sense, feel, and know the truth. I follow my intuition. It is easy for me to meditate. My entourage of angels orchestrates my life. I receive messages all the time and follow my internal guidance system. Wisdom is innate within me. You guys have to believe in yourselves. Like, if you are stuck in the energy where it's almost like you don't believe in yourself to the point that you don't even think the messages you're getting are real, then you're not going to be able to heal, because you're stifling all the guidance that's trying to come down to you. And it's almost like you're creating this block, because in order for them to help you, you have to ask, you have to be humble, you have to say, please come into my life and help me with this. I need strength, I need something I can depend on right now, because I don't have the strength to do this all by myself. And it takes a lot of courage to be able to admit that you need help. It's not a weakness. It's actually showing that you know how important this is to you, and you don't want to miss the opportunity to do this for yourself. So don't be afraid to speak up. There's a lot of blue here, so it might even help you to have someone that you can talk to as well, because you might be having trouble expressing yourself. But definitely you guys have some deep sacral and heart chakra wounds because of closing those off because of the trauma. So I hope that this helps you guys navigate this time. I wish the best for you guys. It is not an easy journey, but I know you guys can do it. Have a good one. Hello, my rainbow clear quartz pile, and have faith. Go ahead and sit. Ooh. Come on, you worked fine. Okay. Have faith. And here goes this crystal right there. Okay, so we are going to start with, where is your Achilles heel? Just in case you guys are not fully aware of what it is. So that way we can know where to go with helping you guys through this time. So, where is Achilles heel? Okay. So, first one you got was courage reversed. A lot of things have knocked you down and made you feel weak, and you kind of don't want to fight anymore. You've kind of grown scared of a lot of things you had to deal with, and you don't want to replay it. And it's almost like you don't have, it's like you can't take anymore. You really feel like you can't, and you feel like one more thing can break you. And with this empathy, it's almost like you're closed to allowing. Oh, okay. You guys are, well, it goes with your have faith card. You guys are completely losing faith. You don't understand why all these things are being given to you if there is someone that actually is supposed to be up there caring about you. Why are you being given so many things? Why are you being given so many challenges, so much adversity to deal with back to back? It's like you don't understand why something that wants to protect you and love you feels like it wants to break you. And you don't want to believe in something higher than you because you feel like you've been rejected by it. So this wound deep down is you want to believe, but the belief hurts you because you feel like a back's been turned on you, and it doesn't matter how much you try, you feel like you just get weaker and weaker because it's like the more you try to believe, the more things get slammed in your face. And you feel like no one understands it because when they tell you to just, believe like things will turn out better, and then every time that happens, something worse happens, and you just, it's like you've almost completely lost faith. And like you're barely hanging on by a tiny drop right now. So I'm gonna pull some cards to see basically how this Chiron retrograde is going to activate this wound for you. Like, what will it look like? What will it feel like? If there's going to be anything in your external environment that'll happen, it's pretty much going to be like signs that this is kicking off and it's happening, so that you're prepared, so it doesn't take you by surprise. Okay. You guys are, you might feel like randomly a lot of burdens lift. Whether it's like mentally, you just feel like all of a sudden you have clarity out of nowhere, and you've, it's just going to be like a side blind basically, because it's going to start helping you to kind of start peeling away and dropping these feelings that you're alone. And it's going to really come out of nowhere, to be honest with you. Like, you're not going to understand why you feel this way, why it's hitting you. Because this right here, we have the Nine of Swords reversed, which is usually causing yourself like a lot of mental anguish and regret and everything. But this is it falling away from you. This is you being able to see like that this is something you're creating, that you're trapping yourself in a mental jail, and it'll bring this epiphany where it's almost like you'll be able to be like, well, if I look at it from this perspective, I might be able to pull myself out of this a little bit and see a little bit of a speck of light in this situation. Not quite the silver lining, but you're beginning to see a little speck, like a little bit of something that you can kind of walk towards. And then we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. You, I don't know why this is feeling this way. Either you, if you're a female, you might start becoming very irritated and combative. If there's a female in your life that starts getting that way towards you and you don't know where it's coming from, maybe they're trying to push a lot of stuff on you that you feel like isn't yours to deal with, and you don't know why it's being shoved on you. And the defensiveness is literally you saying, this is not my problem. Because you are so used to having your own problems, you're going to start seeing that certain things are not your problem and you shouldn't have them shoved on you. It won't be a fun energy because it's almost like you're kind of going to bat for yourself, and you don't have the fortitude right now to really put up with that kind of energy, and it's going to make you feel like you have no time to really slow down and rest. And once again, this is another mental thing as well. You're going to be feeling very mentally drained because you're going to be working through your own things and releasing them, but at the same time, outside external things are going to be hitting you. And you're going to feel like you actually aren't having time for your mind to rest because you're gaining clarity, but you're also gaining a bunch of bullshit on the outside. So what's going to come of this is, for one, a new beginning is going to come out of this. So it's going to be very beautiful. Maybe relationships with people that are not so abrupt and rude. But also with me with wands, I feel are very spiritual. And it might also be a new beginning in faith. You might be able to find that it's more tangible to you to be able to believe in things that you weren't able to before, because you're starting to gain clarity on things instead of going in a loop over and over. And it's going to come to you kind of fast because wands are fire energy. It's very quick moving. So it'll almost be like an influx of this feeling of comfort and an ignited passion for knowing that you have something you can believe in, which is definitely going to help you guys going through this, because you need that in order to get through this, because you're feeling so broken down right now. The next cards I want to pull are how you can face or work through these wounds, so that once you start seeing the signs that this is happening, you kind of have a idea on what next steps you need to start taking, so that way you can kind of start pulling it back down to where it's like you're not, especially with this combative outside energy, but just, things you can turn to and start doing that would help you get through it once it's starting to happen for you. Okay. So, first one we have is Homeward Traveler, Completion, Reunion, Return. I feel like with this energy, the way you're going to be able to work on it is by allowing yourself to return to the different spaces where you feel like you were broken down in your life, but with the perspective of you are ready to complete the cycle and let it go and surrender it, so that way you can bring light into those places and they're illuminated and you can accept them for what they are, and then move forward with the new energy that you are now back in full union with yourself, as opposed to being like ripped into a lot of tiny pieces and feeling like you don't have the union with the source that you really want to have, because you'll be able to reunite with that as well, which will definitely help you. So if you feel that coming in, don't push it away, because it will definitely help you work on these energies that are coming in. The next one we have is the Healing Temple of Lunar Light, Life Cycles, Energy Healing, and Communication. With this one, obviously there's going to be a lot of healing taking place, because you guys are going to have to work through a lot of situations in your life. It's not going to be like just one set thing. It's going to be like this multitude of things that have like broken you down. So pretty much you're going to be going through a bunch of different cycles, all the way probably from childhood growing up, that you're going to have to see, so you can actually realize, okay, this is at an end now. I don't have to keep replaying that in my mind, because it's going to keep pulling me back there. So you come to a completion with it, and you reach inside yourself in order to heal that. And plus, through having that open channel with divine and spirit that you can feel rushing into you. Allow the communication to come in to know you're protected and loved while you're going through this, instead of pushing it off like you're not worthy because you went through it. When you're given challenges like this, they are blessings because you can grow so much from them. And if you feel like you cannot handle lessons that are thrown at you, another lesson is being able to surrender it so you can get the strength from somewhere else, if you can't have all the strength by yourself. And then last one is Oracle, Sacred Living, Spirit Speaking, and Intervention. So I honestly feel like if things are really bad, that your guides are just gonna flat out intervene anyways, if it gets that bad. So just know while you're working through this that you are protected. And if things feel like they're just going to completely crash, just be open and humble and say that you will allow the help to come in and it will be there. Live from a space where you are just being completely authentic and vulnerable. Even if you're not doing it with other people, do it with your faith. Because in doing that, you're inviting the help in so that you will be able to get through this. And then the last thing I want to pull for you guys are energies that will be helpful, and also energies that you should be wary of or watch out for. First, I want to pull out the energies that will be helpful to you guys while navigating this time. Okay. And then energies to watch out for or be careful of. Okay, so what we have for helpful energies is hold your vision, but it is reversed. So I feel like for the helpful energy, you guys have the issue where it's hard for you to let go and just believe, and you need to release that. You need to let go of that perspective that you have, that there is no help, everything's against you, like you have to do it all by yourself. These things, you need to release this and just let it go and realize that you need to have confidence. I mean, maybe some of you are Leos, but you need to have confidence that everything will come through. It's like you have to believe that it will happen. You can't be stuck in the mindset that it won't, or the energies that you need to help you through this will not come through. Now, with things to watch out for, believe in the impossible. As an energy to watch out for, it's like I'm almost getting the feeling that since you're really going to want to be able to rely on faith, don't think that they're going to do the work for you. They're there to assist you and give you the strength so that you can work through it yourself. It is your healing. It is your wound. And they are there to help you. But you need to do the work. So don't believe that just because they're showing themselves to you and you're feeling the connection, that you can just let all go and not work on yourself and not pay attention to this wound as it's surfacing, and actually put in the work of working through it, so that way you can get through this phase. You'll just get lost in the fact, once again, that they didn't come through for you because you didn't do the work, and fall into that pit of even worse than before, not having the faith. And then the last one to be wary of is time to release negativity. Full moon Scorpio. So might have some water and fire energies in here. But don't cling to your negative beliefs. You really need to be able to release those mindsets that are keeping you in your cycle, so you're not completing them and holding on to them. You need to not feel like you need to strike people when they hit triggers of yours. You need to not hold on to things and be so defensive, and like you feel like you need to bring others down to bring yourself up. The more you can step into an area where you're trying to love yourself through knowing you're protected and loved as well, and that you're not forgotten and that you're not abandoned, just know that you can get through this, and through this you will come out very, very strong. You'll come out with so much faith and a huge transformation. It's almost like you're gonna break down so many old barriers that you had. This is gonna be like an uprooting of your belief system. So that's all I have for you guys. I really hope this helps and that you guys are able to get through this time a little easier with these messages. Have a wonderful day.